You ever been talking to a seller and you just want to ask them straight up, hey, can I just wholesale your house? Can I just run this by my buyers and see what they'd be willing to pay? I do it all the time. Check out how I do it with this seller live. How I ask them, hey, let me just run this by my buyers and see what they can pay and see how they react. Check it out right here on this live call that I did. What's up, everybody? I'm about to make a call. I'm about to talk to a lead that I got for absolutely free. Didn't spend any money. It was straight from networking. And I'm going to show you guys how to talk to a seller and ask them if you can wholesale their house. As simple as that. Let's call.
Hello.
Hi, is this Jerry?
Yes.
Hey, Jerry. My name's Nathan, and I just was wondering, do you still have about 10 minutes to chat?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I was calling about your property. One of my friends lives in right over there, and he said, hey, he saw the for sale by owner sign, so he sent me your number to give you a call. But I have a couple questions for you about the property. Is that okay?
Sure. I don't know the answer, but go for it.
It's all right. So I'm an investor. I usually look to like flip homes, but this one looks like we would be purchasing it and you're selling it for the land value.
Yep.
Okay. And I was kind of curious because usually when I talk to people, their first strategy is to like list it with a real estate agent to see if they can get the most. And I noticed you're selling it for sale by owner. So I was curious if like you've explored listing it and you're just not interested in that, or what made
I
you?
retired as an agent about 6 months ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you're like,
So does that explain it? Yeah. And my husband's an agent. My son's an agent. So we have multiple agents in the family, but my mother's the one who owns the property. She doesn't want to pay any real estate fees if she can help it. And honestly, I think I can manage it. I've sold commercial properties, lots of So I'm not a current agent, but I know what I'm doing.
No, awesome. Yeah, because I was kind of curious because usually, obviously, as an agent, you put on MLS, more eyes will see it. But Are you mainly looking for, a cash buyer, someone that will like not have an agent that represents them, and you're just looking directly to work with a cash buyer?
No, I'd actually prefer if the buyer has an agent because it all works better if they have an agent. And, we're willing to pay some, I'm willing to pay some kind of BAC to the agent.
Yeah, I'm not represented. I don't have an agent, but if we needed to get one involved for you to feel more comfortable, that'd be no problem. But, I wouldn't,
well,
there wouldn't be
anything. It depends on who buys. I'm assuming as an investor, you know what you're doing and you're somewhat sophisticated and,
Right.
I would be I'd be fine with that. But I probably had 60 inquiries or more.
Oh my gosh.
And
just from that sign? Wow.
Yeah, most of them are people like, how much is your house? And when you tell them, I said, okay, but we're not selling the house.
Yeah, no, I get that. That you said that the house is a tear down, so I wouldn't be looking to buy it. I'm looking at, you said it's commercially zoned, right? So
yeah, commercial zone. In fact, you cannot get a residential permit from the city for that property. So which I have to tell people, look, even if you wanted to, fix up the house, you can't get a residential permit. It's commercial.
Yeah, no, definitely the value is definitely in the land. So I was kind of, you're an agent. I was looking at some comps online. I'm not an agent, but I was just looking at what I had access to. You said you wanted 800,000 and it's almost an acre.
Yeah.
Just curious, did you run comparables on it to kind of get that, or was that just a price that your mom had in mind? I was curious how you came up with the asking price.
No, we ran a comp. There's another commercial lot in town, and so we bumped it against that one. It's about the same price.
Yeah, because I looked at there was like a 0.46. There's a couple residential lots, but it seems like they go for a lot less. I think I saw one that was like 146,000 just for like a residential lot. So is that true as well from what you've seen? Is when it's commercially zoned, the value is a lot higher?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah. I live in Sandy. I've been to Santa Quinn a couple times, but it's just it was nice because my friend saw that, and we're always looking for properties that aren't on the MLS because usually we're able to negotiate without the fees involved.
Well, and I'm going to tell you. And I tell people all the time, if you're interested, make an offer, and you never know what a buyer will accept. And I can't tell you that either. I know what my mom says she'd like to get, but if somebody actually made a reasonable, realistic offer, 300,000 is not going to cut it, but you know what I'm saying? Of course. Mom might just consider it. So
yeah. And is there like a timeline that you'd like to make a decision by? Is it like the first person that can get you an offer that makes sense, you're willing to pull the trigger? Do you want to wait a little bit? Just kind of curious.
No, we're not. We have no timeline.
All right. So
which is the other reason it's priced.
Yeah. It's
priced what it is because, we we were in a rush, it'd be probably $100,000 less, to be blunt about it.
Of course. So to kind of tell me, you have a lot of experience. I've been doing this for a while. What would be the best case scenario for you? Would you want someone to come up with an offer, go under contract, don't really worry about putting a deadline, let someone do their due diligence and talk to the city before they close? Or what's your expectation?
What I would anticipate best scenario is, first of all, the person who wants it needs to talk to the city before they make the offer.
Okay.
Make sure that they can do what they want to do, or see what the limitations are, if any. Then I would say, when I say no deadlines, I'm going to say for this kind of property, I think it ought to be closing within 60 days. I think 60 days due diligence for this commercial property is great.
Okay.
We don't want to partner with anybody. I don't want to wait anybody else to think of the zoning they want. We need to figure that out before they make an offer.
Okay.
And then, once they know, they can make the offer and go for it. And pretty straightforward, clean offer, I'm going to say. So.
Right. Because with the due diligence, I'm trying to think, if I were to call the city and ask them the questions and figure out if we were able to build and do what we wanted to, and we went under contract, the 60-day due diligence would just be to kind of do the odds and ends that need to happen before, I guess we close, right?
Yeah. And if we can close sooner, great. But, I would say, city office is right across the street. So they're very aware of this property.
Mm-hmm. What I just very transparent with how I work. So when I buy properties, I mainly look at like apartment complexes and, to rehab properties. So I'm kind of newer to the land and developing, but I do have a couple business partners that do that. So my goal would be to reach out to them and see if we could partner on this opportunity. So I guess my question for you is there anybody that I need to do I need to act quicker then? Because I would hate to go through the process of reaching out, trying to figure out, call the city, work with people, and then I get done and then you're like, oh, I already signed, it's under contract with someone else. So I just don't want to waste my time, or your time.
So we have no offers. So I've had lots of inquiries.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say I've probably had 2 out of the 60 inquiries, 2 that I'd say were from people who actually knew what they were doing.
Right.
So that's, so no, you don't have any issues at this point. I don't have anybody making offers, it's 2 or 3 serious inquiries. So, no, you don't have to rush. You said you're new to this, but this is what I found as an agent and also an investor in real estate. Mm-hmm. About the time I tell you no one's interested, suddenly you have 6 offers, right? Yes. You're like, what? It sat for 6 months with nothing. So, that old thing about, once it's out there in the atmosphere, I totally believe that.
No, that's true. And in my experience, what I focus on mainly is if I don't know how to do something, I have a pretty good exclusive network through going through a lot of coaching programs and knowing going to meetups. So I know who does land. So my goal, if that'd be okay with you, is to reach out to them, see who'd be open to partner with me on this, and then try to take it down and go through that due diligence process even before we need to sign paperwork. But again, I don't want to do that if that wasn't a good option for you, for me to reach out to the people that I work with.
No, I'm going to say take the time you need to.
I wholesale a lot. I don't know if you're familiar with that term.
Yeah, absolutely are. Yeah.
Yeah. So that if that's ever something that you'd be interested in as well, where I could just reach out to my whole network. Right now, I wouldn't plan on blasting this out because I don't have the contract. But if you were ever interested, I could send it all to all of the buyers that I know in Utah, and we could get bids and see what they're willing to offer. But I don't know if that's something that you're interested in at the moment.
I'm flexible. We're flexible, right?
Yeah. A lot of the time, what I do is I tell a seller hey, look, this is where my price would be, but I know that there's a lot of buyers that can pay more than me. If we can sign an option to purchase agreement, which allows me to just reach out to my network legally and say, hey, this is a property. What would everyone pay for it? And then I take those offers and then I present them to you. And then, if you like any of them, you can accept them, then we can proceed. But that's what I do a lot of the time when my cash offer isn't accepted.
Well, you know what? I would say, sure, we consider it.
Okay.
I just have to have it. Whatever we do, I have to make sure it's simple enough and clear enough for me to explain to my mother so she'll understand what we're doing and not get frightened off or worried. Of course. So that's the one thing we're talking about here. But no, I'm fine with that.
I don't think it would frighten her at all because basically all we do is the option to purchase agreement says, hey, if we are able to find a price at this offer, then, then we can proceed if the seller, if you feel, you know, like you're ready to go. I'll be honest, they'll probably come in a lot lower than what you're wanting, but at least we would have like some concrete offers, and then, you know, we can make the decision from there.
Yeah. And then do you take a commission or something for that? Or are you an agent?
I have the buyers pay my fee. So it doesn't come out of what you have to pay. So for example, if hypothetically, if you want 800,000 and they offered 820, then they would give me, you know, a portion of that. They would pay it's called a wholesale fee. They would pay my sign-up fee. So it doesn't come out of what you get.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. That's great.
That works for you. And the good thing about an option to purchase agreement is like it's not binding. Like if you don't want to sell it, like there's no problem. I'm not going to make you, but at least we'll have some options. So all I'll need is just your email, and I can if you could text that to me, and then I'd have to send it. I'll sign it, and I don't know. Are you able to sign, or would your mom need to sign it?
She owns it. She'd have to sign it.
Within 14 days, I'm able to send it out to my network and say, hey, what would you pay for this? And no. So if 14 days would be fine with you, that would give enough people.
Yeah, I was thinking like, you know, we're not into 12 months or 8 months. Or, you know,
No.
Maybe 3 months would be, you know, somewhat reasonable. But yeah, that's fine. 14, like, I don't know, 2 months or something. That'd be fine. Give you time to do your thing.
Yeah. So 14 days would just give me enough time to get the interest in the offers coming in and them to do the due diligence. And then once we go with a specific offer, then they would want their specific, like, you know, 30 to 60 days to move forward. But this is just to gauge interest and say who's serious without you having to pay commissions or even put it on, you know, any of those sites. So what we'll do, just to recap, is I'll send you, if you can send me your mom's name, I will send you an email with the option to purchase agreement just for 14 days, so I can send this out to my buyers that buy land in Utah. And then I would, you know, present those offers of what come in to you and say, do any of these look good? And if they do, we can move forward. And if not, no worries.
Yeah. Okay. This will not be a rush job because my mother lives in Springville, 200 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to sign anything online. So I'm not anticipating being back in Springville for maybe in 2 weeks. And then I'll be out of town for like 2 months off and on. So I will do what I can to get the sign, but this is probably going to be a slow burn, I'll be honest. And just because of logistics, if nothing else.
No, I understand that. Well, if it's going to be that long and I'm not really putting this online or doing anything like on the MLS or like on Zillow or anything, do you even care if we sign something? Do you mind if I just reach out and send some emails and some texts out to see if people would be interested, or would that be okay?
No, yes, if they can. And if you come up with something, you know, then we'll figure out how to get the contract signed. And
because the purpose of the option to purchase agreement is just so we're on the same page. But verbally, if you're good and I'm good, you know, I'm not worried about it.
No, we're good. Verbally, we're good.
Thank you, Jerry. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Nathan.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
If you found that helpful, smash that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.